kind of all works. So I know you're going to talk about that kind of in the process later, but yeah, I did a quick run through, and it is really easy. Well, I reckon that's coming up to 5 past. So should we crack on? Yeah, and then as I said, so we'll thank you everyone for joining us. Obviously, we'll record it, so if you don't want to be on the recording, then please turn your camera off. And actually, I know that this is the first time actually spoken face to face with most of you, because most of the stuff we do is over email. So hello, I'm Matt. Thank you for being a part of Grassroots Media, because I know you know what Grassroots Media is. You clubs are all part of it. But I'm really pleased to be here and introduce you to Carol from Gatherwell. And Carol's going to be taking you through the detail of how the Grassroots Lottery works. But really, I just kind of wanted to set the scene first and explain where the idea came from. I mean, it's not rocket science at all. But I really can't tell you how proud I am that we've got this live, because like all crazy ideas, good ideas, whatever, it came from the bar after a match. And I was listening to how hard the committee were talking about how hard it is for them to fundraise, and they were going through all the usual kind of bits and bobs. And I just thought, oh, I need to go away and think about that. And then as I was walking home from the game, I had an advert come up on my phone from the National Lottery, and this was about, I don't know, when did I start talking to you, Carol? About 9 months ago about this?
Yeah, we're getting on for almost a year now. Yeah. And
it was banging on in a good way about how the National Lottery supports the grassroots of sport through Sport England and all that, which it does, of course, but it's at such a high kind of macro level. It just got me thinking, was there a way that we could go about doing this in a bit more direct, cutting out kind of the middleman, let's say. And that's how the idea came for the Grassroots Lottery came about. Next was working out how we delivered it, and that's where Gatherwell comes in. For full transparency, I don't think I've told Carol this, they were one of 7 or 8 companies that I approached, but by far they were the best and the most professional. And it also helps because I think some of you know that I'm also a local councillor in my local town council. So the fact that they work with local authorities, local parish and town councils, they've got hundreds of these across the country, it just seemed like a natural fit. So the tickets cost £1 a week, and half of every ticket goes straight back to the club that's chosen by the player. You'll notice that there is a 10% share that comes to us. And I want to be completely clear about that. We're not making a penny out of this. Legally, we're not allowed to make a penny out of this. In fact, it's cost me quite a bit of money to start this. But it's the right thing to do, and that came out of the army campaign that we had last year on the football and cricket and rugby side of things. But legally, we've had to set up what's called a community interest company, and that's called Grassroots Support CIC. It's very separate from Grassroots Media Limited, so that everything is kind of transparent and ring fenced in line with how the rules that are set for community lotteries. So that 10% doesn't come to me or Grassroots Media Limited. It goes into a central fund, and that covers all the small admin kind of costs on running it, and it will be built up and used to support clubs further. That's the whole idea of this kind of Grassroots Support CIC thing. I haven't quite worked out how the fund will be distributed back to the grassroots yet. And I think that really will come from, that will depend on how much money builds up over time. But my idea is that it will go back in the form of small grants or small investments into projects that you guys are putting on. So you might say, I need, I don't know, need a new lawnmower or something. This is why we need it. Could you chuck us some money to help fund it? We'd be like, yeah, cool, okay, great. So in other words, every ticket sold is supporting the grassroots sport fully and in 2 ways: directly for you as the clubs. So when players choose to support you, you're getting 50p in every pound, and then collectively through this central pot as well. So I'll stop banging on because Carol's the expert in this, and she's going to run you through the nuts and bolts, how it works, what's involved, and most importantly, how easy it is. So thank you all for coming along, and I'll shut up.
Thank you, Matt. That was fabulous. Explained it all very, very well. So it is very exciting to get to this point today where we're going to be able to launch the Grassroots Support Lottery. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to share some details and I will run through a few slides just to explain exactly what the lottery is and how you can get involved. And then, as I said, if there's any questions, if we can run through at the end, I'll open up to question and answers and we can just run through and just clarify them. So can somebody just give me a yes if we've got that lovely Grassroots Support Lotto logo showing? Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Yay! Lovely. It's always that worrying moment with the technology. Okay, so as I said, we have launched live today. The website is up and running, so you can go along and check out the Grassroots Support Lotto. It is a new initiative from Grassroots Support CIC, the company Matt has just referred to that has been established to basically oversee and to work on the lottery and allocate those grants as they come up for small payments, for lawn mowers or whatever the clubs need ongoing. So our company's Gatherwell. We've been around since 2013. We've got 152 community lotteries. So these are with local authorities. They're with local enterprise groups in different towns across the UK. And the main purpose of all of our lotteries is to help generate revenue for local good causes, community initiatives, sports groups, whatever on a local level gives back into the local community. So what we're going to run through today, how this works for the supporters, the people that want to buy tickets and play, the splitting of the pound, which we've touched on slightly, and then the prizes that are going to be managed weekly, how it's going to work for yourselves. So you will see we keep referring to good causes, and that just means the clubs, so your clubs that actually register to become part of the lottery. The support you're going to get from us, and just to give you an idea of some of the different groups that we've worked with in the past, a few of their top tips as to how to get involved and how to get selling tickets. So the website is up and running, as we mentioned, and if you go along, we have a weekly draw every Saturday at 8 o'clock. So the more numbers that you match, the bigger the prize. So tickets are £1 a week. The players go along, they choose their numbers or they choose a lucky dip. At this point, they're going to choose their club as well. So it's a little bit of an added layer. It's great for the supporter because they can choose their local club that they want to support. So they feel like they can oversee where their money is going to go to. As Matt said, with the National Lottery, you play and you know there's a charitable aspect, but it could go anywhere in the UK. At least with this, you know you're keeping the pound local. So supporters then choose to pay by direct debit, or they can have a monthly recurring payment set up similar to what you do with Netflix. There is an option, if you did want to give us a call, you can actually purchase a block of tickets. So people can buy to play for 1 month, for 3 months, 6 or 12 months. But about 96% of our supporters actually choose that direct debit. So that just shows that they're usually playing the lottery not for a one-off, it is for the longevity of it. Every Saturday evening, our winners will be notified by email. So if you're lucky enough to get some matches, you get a lovely email congratulating and saying, okay, we're going to pay your winnings into your nominated bank account. At this point, though, we do pull on the heartstrings a little bit. We say, thank you for supporting your local sports club. Would you like the winnings or would you like them to go back as a donation? And just over 20% of our players choose that. They choose to actually donate their winnings back. So that just gives you an idea that people tend to play because they do want to give that support on a local level. So from every ticket that is sold, it is £1 for a ticket. 60% of that, so 60 pence of ticket sales goes back to the good causes. So as Matt referred to, 50 pence will go to your individual club and 10 pence is retained to a central fund that will build up throughout the year, and then Grassroots Support will allocate that as they see fit either throughout the year or at the end of the year. There's a little over 18 pence that goes back into the prize pot just to keep supporters' prizes coming through, and a little over 18 pence in running costs. So that's things like your banking transactions, the running of the site, the general player support and marketing. And there's a small element of VAT attracted in each pound ticket as well. So on a weekly basis, you have a top prize. If you're lucky enough to match those 6 numbers, it's a 1 in a million chance, and top prize is £25,000. So if we were to have 2 or 3 people matching those 6 numbers, they would all receive the £25,000 each. So we don't break that prize down and we don't roll it over. We actually had a double winners in the middle of August, which was great. So we had 2 £25,000 winners one week. And then you can see the prizes come down. So if you match 5, £2,000, 4, 250 down to 3 free tickets. So when you're speaking to people in the club and you're advertising, it's a really good prize that you're able to sort of offer if they want to pledge £1 and support your club. And it's throughout the year, because that is a weekly prize as well. The little writing at the bottom just explains that all prizes are covered by Gatherwell. So when we do our first draw in a week or so's time, if we are lucky enough to get somebody that matches those 6 numbers, there's never any responsibility to cover prizes by Matt and his team. We actually underwrite all of the prizes at that point. As well as the regular draw, we'll also run super draws throughout the year. So at the end of every month, we actually put together here at Gatherwell, and it's a prize bundle. So it could be a gift card for a supermarket, it could be a summer getaway. We recently did like a tech bundle and a robot cleaning house bundle with a robot hoover and such. But we put these prizes together as a way to thank our supporters. So at the end of every month, they will receive an email saying, thank you for supporting your local bowls club. We are going to give you a raffle ticket. It's completely free, and pop you into this super draw as by means of thanks for supporting on a local level. So what we find is that just helps to retain players. And also it's a good way of being able to advertise to people that are coming in and out the club and say, look, if you did sign up this week, you won't just get 1 ticket, you will get 2. So we have these regularly through the year, usually the last weekend of each month. Now, how this is going to work for your clubs. So when you visit the site, you will see as you enter onto the website, basically applying to join is easy. You just click on the button that says start fundraising, and it is a 1-page application that just asks for a little bit of information about your club, who the contact will be, and an email address. Once you have filled in that application, we will just check with Matt and the team, and we will qualify you and get you onto the website. Now, once you're on the website, every club will have its own page. So you'll have a little page you can go into, and you can write a little bio of all the different sports that are available at your club. If you've got something that you're actively fundraising for, you can let people know, you know, if it's for equipment or for an event, you can let them know how much you're wanting to actually set a target for. And then when you achieve it, you can also update with that as well. So once you're live on the website, we will then work with you directly. So on your page on the website, you will have a section where there's going to be lots and lots of marketing materials. So it could be posters that you can print, download and print from the website, or leaflets. There'll also be access to social media banners, WhatsApp messages that you can share with everybody on your database to say, look, we're now on the lottery website, and we're starting to raise money. Come along, buy a ticket and join us. But all of that marketing information we have designed, it's there, it's ready for you to go, and it is literally just sharing it. We also update that every 6 weeks or so. So when we have these super draws, you'll have a whole new load of assets there that you can send out to people to let them know. But basically, we generate all of that. So it is 10, 15 minutes clicking, maybe once or twice a fortnight. And that should be enough to generate support and get selling tickets. Then every month, you will have all the funds that are raised are paid directly into your bank account. So at the end of every month, you'll receive an update just to say this is how many tickets that you sold. You've also got a dashboard on your lottery page. So in real time, you can track how many tickets you've sold, how much money is coming through. If you've had winners, we'll also let you know where the player is happy to share their information that you've had a winner. So you'll be able to reach out and congratulate them. And then this is just to give you an indication of what the page will look like. So the Grassroots Support Central Fund is where the 10 pences go. But you can see here, there's a lovely little bio all about the work that they're hoping to do. There is a little ticker that you can set at however much. So if you've got a figure that you're wanting to raise towards, you can amend that at any point. And it just tracks how many tickets that you've sold and when the next draw is. And again, just a little example of some of the marketing materials. So this is quite basic, but it just gives you an idea. We'll brand the lottery name on there, and then it'll have information about how to get involved, how to play. We use a lot of QR codes as well. So if you put a poster up in the club, the QR code will be there. As people come in, they'll be able to take a picture, which will take them straight to your page on the website. And as we said, the website is up and live today. So it's designed in partnership with Grassroots Support, with Matt and the team. We've got 152 of these throughout the UK. So they're regularly updated and they're monitored around the clock. Everything to do with compliance is all done by Gatherwell. So there's nothing that you guys need to do other than type some information into your bio about what your club does. And it's a fully responsive website. So players can view it on their mobile, tablet, desktop. Along with the website, we've also got a dedicated telephone number. So if supporters or players or yourselves have any questions on the lottery, you can give us a call. It will be answered as Grassroots Support Lotto by our customer service team. So if you did need a little bit of help in setting up your page, or if we have players that have an inquiry about a payment or a payment expiry, then that will be dealt with directly by Gatherwell. So just to give you an idea of the work that's going to be done behind the scenes by Matt and the work that's already been done. So there is going to be an element of central marketing and promotion of the lottery throughout all of the clubs, just making sure that you're aware that you have this extra sort of string to your bow, that you can start to raise unrestricted funds via the lottery. The licensing has all been taken care of. So when Matt set this up, there was a cost to set up the actual lottery website, and the licensing that came across is going to actually be the responsibility of Matt and the team, but that is all done. So there's no reason for you to need to get any sort of licensing requirement. There is going to be all the clubs coming on board throughout the next sort of few days. Hopefully everybody will sign up quite quickly. So Matt and the team will just make sure that they're happy and will allow everybody onto the website. There's a little bit of scheme administration that goes on behind the scenes, mostly by Gatherwell, but then general good practice and advice. So if you have questions, we'll always help you. If you need help with marketing or reaching your supporters, we're on hand to do that. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of where we came from, we actually started with your school lottery, which we still do. So we provide lotteries for schools throughout the UK. And then in 2015, Aylesbury Vale Council actually approached us and said, we can see the work you're doing with schools, which is great. It's raising lots of money. But is there something you could do with the voluntary and community sector? So we actually designed our very first community lottery, very similar to the one we're launching today. And there were 40 good causes that signed up for that first draw. So since then, there's now 300 on that particular lottery, all regularly selling tickets. And they have just grown exponentially. They're now actually covering all of Buckinghamshire. So I've also kept a couple of case studies in here, just to give you an idea of some of the clubs that have joined our community lotteries throughout the UK. One of our very first was Great Brickhill Cricket Club. So they actually joined with Aylesbury Vale, our very #1 community lottery. So this was over 10 years ago. When our good causes sign up as well, we always say, you know, have you got any top tips for fundraising for what you did? And Great Brick Hill actually offered everyone a free drink from the bar, and they still do. So when people can prove they've signed up for the lottery, they do get a free drink, which does seem a little bit costly, but they've averaged somewhere between 38 to 48 tickets on a weekly basis, which raises them about £1,300 a year, and they're just coming up to 19,000 since joining on that particular lottery. So all that money's been reinvested in their junior coaching. We do sometimes get some larger charities that join some of our lotteries, and Carers Books only had one member of staff at the time, so they didn't really have any time at all to market or to send emails or do any of that. But what they did, they just added the lottery link and the QR code on every email that went out, and they popped it on every newsletter and every poster. And just by doing that very small thing, they actually sell around 50 tickets a week, and they have been since November 2015. That very simple little addition to them raises them about £1,400 each year, and a little over 10,000 since joining. And then more recently, from where I am up in Warrington, is we have a lot of rugby clubs in and around the Warrington and Widnes area. And we have Blackbuck Royals, who just over a year ago signed up with one of our community lotteries. They actually have started pitching all the different age groups against each other. So the under 8s are outselling all the other age groups right the way through the club. So they average about 131 tickets that they sell on a weekly basis. They've just raised over £3,200, and they're well on track to that new 4G pitch, which they have had. Hopefully they're going to be getting put in next year. So the lottery has just been signed up by these guys because they want to have the reinvestment into that pitch. So we want to make it as easy as possible, because you've got a million of other things to do with your work that is involved in the club. And we want to make raising money be sort of as simple as possible. So each club gets its own dedicated web page on the lottery website. We also provide all your marketing materials. So everything's going to be co-branded with your club, and it's going to be updated. So you've always got something new you can send out. You're going to have your QR codes and things like that you can attach to newsletters or posters as well. You will have your own dashboard. So at any point you can see how many tickets you've sold, if you've had winners, how much money's coming back in from those ticket sales, and when it's going to be paid. You will all receive a welcome pack as well. So once you sign up, that will just explain everything you need to know about the website and how to build participation, how to make the most and sell as many tickets to supporters as you can. And we also give weekly update emails. So if we get particular clubs doing brilliantly, we'll share their information. A lot of the time, people are very happy to sort of share how they're managing to do so well. And also, if there's any changes with anything to do with the lottery, we would always let you know. And on top of all that, you will get 50p out of every ticket sold. So there's no commitment. Once you sign up, you know, it is up to yourself how involved you get with the lottery. When we've spoken to a lot of our successful clubs and causes, though, they say that they give themselves a target to sell about 20 tickets before the first draw. So 20 tickets is a good sort of number to try and pitch yourself at. I know personally I'd be hitting up the aunties, the uncles and everybody else in the family. We also ask that you create whichever email address you register as the main contact. Just make sure that's a manned email address, because if we have issues around payment or we want to reach you, we want to be able to get hold of you nice and quickly. The dashboard on the website, make sure you track your performance, you see how you're doing, have a play around with it, just, you know, keep up to date with your bank details on there, and keep checking those marketing materials and sharing them with supporters. As we said, some of our most successful clubs, when they actually tell supporters where the money is going, it actually increases participation. So people really like to see if they're buying a ticket every week, and then you've got the first team getting a new kit, it's good for them as supporters to be able to see them running out of a Saturday, and knowing that their money went some way to help. Help us to help you. So use our tools, give us a call, speak to our team. We deal with sort of clubs and causes big and small throughout the UK, so we can always give you a bit of advice, and then spread the word. Just share as much as you can to members and to people that are in and out the club. So the key dates today, we've got the Good Cause launch, speaking to you guys, getting you on board and registered, and tickets are actually open, so you can all go on and just buy a ticket for your own club straight away. But the first draw will be the 4th of October. So it gives us a couple of weeks now to sort of get you happy using that dashboard, and starting to shout out to your club members and your supporters that the lottery's coming, and they need to get on board. So I will stop sharing now, and get back so that we can some questions. So yeah, I mean, do you want to sort of just pop up a hand and we can, any questions at all or anything you'd like me to clarify?
Yeah, hi
Tony.
Carol, this is Tony Wolf from Camberley Bowls Club. For the individuals joining, they can literally be anyone who wants to support our bowls club. They don't have to be members or anything like that. So that's correct. And
yeah, absolutely.
And what happens in terms of their registration itself? Presumably they register as a user and they have to provide their details. Yeah,
so they will go along to the lottery website, and you have two options. You have, are you a club that wants to register, or play? So they will then press to play, pretty much like any lottery website, choose their numbers or choose a lucky dip, but they will also at that point pledge which club they want their 50 pence to go to. So once they choose their club, then they can choose to set up as a one-off payment, or they can set up a direct debit. So they just keep playing that number sort of indefinitely.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
Oh, lovely. Jonathan?
Yeah, just a quick one, really. You said that Grassroots have sorted out the licensing. Does it make any difference whether the organisation is a charity or just a corporate club or whatever? Do we need to, if we're a charity, so do we actually need to do anything more than just know that you've set up a license?
Yeah, to be honest, we've set up the criteria alongside Matt and the team. So basically, this is the criteria is that you are one of the clubs within the Grassroots family. So if you are a charity as well, it makes absolutely no difference. The license sits across the actual lottery, not the individual clubs. The great beauty of this means you don't have to even think about doing any paperwork yourself, because when you sign up as a club on the lottery website, it's done for you. So you just straight in access to fundraising.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions? Oh, Katie.
Hi there. Yeah, a couple of things just arising from that. So I think you just said that you, as a user, as a punter, you come on, you can make a one-off payment, as well as, I think originally talking about doing a direct debit, and sort of, obviously you'd want people to sign up for regular payments, but you can do one-off payments as well. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of our players, this is across every lottery we do. So like over 90%, they actually set up by direct debit, which is good because they're the people that stay with us the longest. However, some people might not be sort of super tech savvy and would prefer to speak to somebody and just purchase a block, or they can actually just purchase a block with a debit card online. It's only about currently about 4%, so it's not sort of a large group. But then further down the line, I know later this year, we're hoping to roll out Apple Pay, Google Pay, which will make everything a lot more straightforward. So we're just in the process of bringing that on board as well.
Could I ask another question as well? Sorry, and it's more relating, and I don't think it might be one for Matt, I don't know, Matt, or yourself. It's about the sort of idea of building up this central fund, which then becomes available for some kind of sort of grants and things like that for particular things. I know you said you haven't sort of finished thinking through how that's going to work, but I suppose what I'd be interested to know is how that would be allocated. I mean, how would you choose projects to fund, or because you might get a number of applications from different clubs, and how you would think about how that would be allocated, or who get priority, or how much would be allocated, and all that sort of thing. But presumably that's still in the mix, is it?
It's limited
very
to
much
the people on this
still in-
call.
Sorry?
It should be limited only to the people who bother turning up on this call, surely. I think everything would be in favour of that, wouldn't we?
Yeah. But I mean,
Ask the most questions, perhaps. I don't know.
I mean, definitely, I think it needs to be limited to the clubs that are taking part in it. That's something that I think is kind of important. But yeah, it is very much still something that I'm thinking about. I'm almost thinking of, because I'm involved in quite a lot of grant applications, assessing them and applying for them. I think we'll just probably start with a standard kind of, this is the maximum grant we can put out. It could be that the maximum grant is, I don't know, 10 lots of £250, or it could be 10 lots of £2,500, because we've got absolutely no idea in terms of how much we're going to have to kind of play around with. It's difficult, because obviously if it's only a grant of 50 quid, like micro grants, then I'm not really going to expect people to put in a lot of work on your end to apply for that. But if it's something a bit more substantial that needs a lot more kind of checking and making sure everything's kind of above board, then that will be a completely different driver. So yeah, it's really difficult for me to kind of give an answer on that until we know roughly what kind of money we're dealing with.
Yeah, I get that. So it would just be, but it would be for bowls, the bowls clubs. It would only be the bowls clubs taking part. You wouldn't be competing against cricket clubs or rugby clubs or others for funding. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because we work across bowls and cricket and
yeah,
rugby.
that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so it would be to the clubs that are a part of this. So
wider than just bowls. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But limited to our clubs, let's call them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, Jonathan.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just age. Presumably, participants are limited by normal regulations. It's 16 or something. You've got to be. Is that right?
Yes. Well, we actually we changed our lotteries to 18. It would be almost a year and a half, 2 years ago now. The reason we did this, we saw there was going to be a move in the industry anyway, to sort of push the age up to over 18s. So part of us being a responsible external lottery manager, we decided to move a little bit before some of the other lottery managers out there. With regard to sort of when if somebody signs up and plays the lottery, they do have to confirm at that point they're over the age of 18. However, if they were to win a prize, then at that point they would actually have to prove identity to claim that prize. So that's where the check will come in.
Sorry. Do we know, as the organizer, well, as the clubs, can we have a list of who's actually participating so we can do a bit of a safeguarding type check ourselves?
Yeah, of course. Basically, on your page on the lottery website, you will have all of the winners' details where they have opted in to share. So as long as they're happy for you to have email address and details like that, you will have a little database there that you can, which is great, because if you get a winner come through when you come in on a sort of Sunday, Monday, you'll have a message from us to say you've had 100 people win 3 free tickets, you've had a £2,500 winner. So you'll always be able to track where you've had winners across your supporters. Yes, is that Jonathan? Yes, Tony.
So you said that was you would get winners, but does that actually also, will you also be able to see people who are playing and are wanting to give to your club? So not just the winners.
Yes. So where we have winners and we send that message out to them on a Sunday, they have an option to just press to donate back. So you would actually see that on your dashboard after the draw on the Saturday night. You would see that you have a donation coming back in. Where they have shared their details, you can then reach out and thank them, and say thank you very much for sending that back.
I didn't really mean that, Carol. I meant
sorry.
so say we've got 20 participants who've got our bowls club down as the club that they want to support, and one of them wins. Yes, I find out who that is. What about the other 19? Do I actually see who the other 19 are? I do,
yeah. So basically on the dashboard you'll be able to see there's a little tab that says players. So with the players, where they've shared their information, you will be able to see limited information if they've decided to opt out. So it will just say Mr. A has supported. So there will be a participant for each one, but the ones that opt in, you can see exactly who's playing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Matt.
So I just wanted to go over a few bits that I've just been thinking about and bits that I forgot to mention earlier. I've actually got a question that I've not actually asked you, Carol, which is when the clubs, let's say a club gets their 50p in the pound, and let's say, I don't know, it's £1,500 for the year, that's zero VATable, isn't it? So there's no VAT on that?
No, there's no VAT on it.
So I know some of our clubs are VAT registered, so that is good to know. Also, where they
are actually, sorry, Matt, where they are VAT registered, because I know with councils, they can. Let me check that, because there is an element of VAT in the ticket, so I'd need to know indirectly how that'd be reclaimed. So I might have to come back to that for you, if that's okay. Yeah, but I will look into that.
And that could be something that we could pop on the FAQ on the website. When a player, let's say, because we know that we can do all the marketing we want as clubs, and people will still ignore the QR code, ignore the unique link that you get, and then just go and Google Grassroots Support Lotto and come directly to the website. So so a player would go onto that website, won't they? They click the players I've just done here, and then as clubs sign up, they'll be listed on there as a cause for people to support, aren't they? So they haven't necessarily got to follow the links that the clubs have.
Yeah, so basically, if they just went along completely blind to the website and they press play, they would then be asked, who would you like to support? Yeah. So at that point, it does actually list, they can say, press a button to choose, and it will just list every club that's registered. So by clicking on each of their pages, they can have a look through, see which club they'd like to. The majority of the time, they know exactly who they want to sort of play for anyway. The way the clubs are listed as well, it's not alphabetically. There's an algorithm in there, so everybody gets an equal amount of time to be the first one that is selected on that page. They're jumbled around from time to time. But the best way is to share your QR codes. And hopefully... And
it is searchable as well. So you can go on
and type in... Yeah, so you can go in... Yeah, so for Tony, for Camberley, someone comes along, goes, Camberley, types it in, it will bring up his club.
The next thing is obviously for the clubs that have got one of our screens, then what we'll do is I can work with you to make your marketing assets appear on those screens. So that could be quite a good driver for you on these. And then I also wanted to mention something that I've completely forgot about at the start, which is I'm going to start taking this to brands to see if they want to support by giving us kind of one-off jackpots. So things like, let's say, for example, we've got Asahi Beer advertising on our rugby club screens, supporting the Women's World Cup at the moment. I'm pretty sure if I went to them and said, why don't you give us £3,000 or £4,000 or £5,000 to support the Grassroots Support Lotto and provide a jackpot, that would then 100% of that money that they give would go in as a prize just for our lottery, which could be quite a big driver. Obviously the brand likes it because it means that, oh yeah, we're supporting the grassroots, but also obviously it means a driver for sales as well potentially. So yeah, I'm just looking at this as an add-on commercially to what we try and do with the posters where we're trying to make you money, and the screens where we're trying to provide the service as well. So yeah, that was just something I meant to mention earlier but forgot.
Any more questions, guys?
No, it's not for me. Oh, one more.
Yeah, Tony, go ahead. Oh,
You're on mute, Tony.
Yeah. After the call, you'll send the PowerPoint and the recording of the meeting. Yeah.
Yes, and there will be links in there for you to go along to the website. If you go along, all you need to press is there, are you a course to register? And it's dead straightforward. To be completely honest, there's no commitment really needed from you. You don't have to sell a certain number of tickets. If you go along and you give it a go, and it starts to take off, fabulous. And if it doesn't, then you can just come off the site at any point. So it's definitely worth all the work that Matt and the team have put in. Is a complete free tool for you guys to get involved. And hopefully you've got enough people coming through, I'm sure, that would be more than keen to support their local sports clubs. Fabulous, guys. Yes, so I will get to work and get all this forwarded on. So we'll make sure you get a copy of the recording. I know that there's a list of people that have registered for that, isn't there, Matt? That will get that around as well. But yes, there's no more questions. I will wait to watch you all register at some point this afternoon.
It'll take a bit longer than that, but thank you. Thanks very much anyway for your
Thank you very much.
detail.
Very interesting.
Yeah,
Very
thank
fun.
you.
Lovely. All right, take care, everybody.
Cheers,
Thanks
then.
for your time, everyone. Thank you, Carol.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.